This is a wide-angle view of the chiller package with a single independent circuit mechanical module, a pump module with 2 pumps, and a storage tank. In the upper portion of the pump module here you can see the maroon colored bladder type expansion tank. This is the pump control panel. Down to see the 2 chilled water pumps, isolation valves on the suction side of the chilled water pumps, scanning up to see the expansion tank. This is a close-up view of the pump control, which allows an automatic backup in the case of a failure of the operating pump. Now we'll pan over to see the storage tank. Return water coming back from the building comes into this upper connection on the storage tank. Now we'll pan around to the right to see the leaving connection from the storage tank into the pump section. We'll also see the flow switch here in just a second. As we pan to the right, you can see the lights on the silver colored flow switch. Now we'll pan left to see the single point power junction box. On the right hand side you'll see the door interlock disconnect switch heading up to the power distribution block, and then over to the 3 circuit breakers. 1 for the mechanical module, 1 for the C1 panel that connects to the remote panel, and 1 for the pump module. That is the single point power door interlock disconnect switch where power is brought to the entire chiller package. We'll pan down to see the leaving connection, which is on the bottom of these 2 headers. The top header is the entering connection into the mechanical module. Pan down and across, you can see in the foreground the 2 scroll compressors. This module has independent circuits, so there are 2 sets of suction and discharge pressure gauges on the bottom. We scan across the chiller control panel, and on the left hand side you'll see the Corel Pico controller, which controls the functions of the mechanical module. On the left hand side in this image is the evaporator. And now we're scanning up to see the copper fin, copper tube, condenser coil, and these 2 gray shrouds for the condenser fans. Some close-up pictures of the 2 compressors in the mechanical module. The next picture shows the independent circuits and the 2 liquid-lined filter dryers. There's a close-up of our lifting lug and the hot dip galvanized lifting frame that the module will sit on. Pan left to see the other lifting lug on this side. Now we'll work our way around to the opposite end of the chiller. We'll see the C1 panel up above here in a second. That header is the leaving the pump header, which wraps around to enter the top of the mechanical modules. This is the C1 panel, which provides information to the remote panel that gets mounted in the space. You can see the pumps in the background there inside the module. So discharges through this upper header, wraps around into the mechanical module, and then chilled water leaves the lower header, either on the opposite end underneath the single point power junction box, or as an alternative, chilled water could leave the lower header on this end. Getting a close-up view of the evaporator and the dual circuit connections. And now we'll pan back up for another view of the C1 panel. The C1 panel also has, shown there blue on the outer right side, a convenience outlet. This is the remote panel, which gets mounted inside the building and allows the operator to have visibility of alarms and operation of the chiller.